My name's Brett Wilson. I'm a second year student at John's. I study biological natural sciences. The image I took was actually of crypts, which many people disregard as one of the ugly parts of John's. But I think when you look at the picture, you can see that there is a bit of beauty in this ugly area. And to me, I don't actually see it as an ugly area at all. It's got a nice sort of shape to it. It's a tunnel, so your eye is drawn straight down the middle, and then you see this person at the end. And I don't actually know who the person is, so they were just there at the right time. And the light at the end is quite nice with the sun. And the shadows casting across the tunnel sort of help to bring out the colour at the end. And I think it just nicely captures the sort of things you can see on a daily basis in John's without even realising it, and just showing that there is some sort of beauty in the new structures as well as the old in this college.
My name's Ian Ostreicher. I'm an MPhil student in archaeological research. Yeah, the black and white image was taken in 2009 in South Gobi province in Mongolia. And that's kind of a part of the Gobi Desert that's famous for some really nice sand dunes and a lot of camel and horse herding. So this was an image taken of a wrangler doing more or less a demonstration of catching horses, really. With that, you can see that really interesting lasso on a big wooden pole there. That's kind of slightly taut because he's just lassoed a horse. And it's quite a good day. Well, it's definitely a scene of intense motion, and so I was trying to, capture that a little bit with the straining horse, as it's, it's definitely pulling back as it's lassoed another horse, and then you can see the tautness of the lasso itself, and on the left is just a big mass of a herd of horses just stampeding practically, and I think it's a really good, capture of that kind of energy that was going on at the time. I mean, it was just the dust clouds were everywhere. The noise was incredible. It was really quite a scene. The color photo here was just taken just a couple of weeks ago, actually, on a fieldwork trip in Orkney in Scotland. That monument is a Neolithic monument, the Ring of Brodgar. It's a late Neolithic henge monument. It's just this massive stone circle and a huge ditch. I mean, the amount of energy and time it took to create that thing was just massive. So my MPhil dissertation is in Neolithic archaeology in Orkney. So I've also been really interested in astronomical photography for a long time, and I thought it would be a really great combination to do an archaeological monument with kind of the idea of time passing with the star trails. And so that's what I was trying to do with that picture. Originally, when I started to do star trail photography, I would leave the exposure open for 2 or 3 hours. Unfortunately, when you get any sort of wind or anything bumps the camera, your entire exposure is ruined. So I've started to do a new technique where I set my camera up on an interval, and it takes a 30-second exposure every 1 second for about 3 hours. So it's a huge battery suck and a huge memory suck, but I think the results are really nice. And then they're essentially just layered and masked with only the highlights coming through.
My name is Gabor. I study architecture. I'm a first year. I was interested in this ritual of preparing food for the hall events, because each student knows this event very well, but they don't know what is going on behind the scenes. So I thought it might be interesting to make a short movie of this. I had the opportunity to film for one hall preparation. All the shots were taken in that approximately 2 hours time, and the music underneath is also to emphasize this ritual feeling. I tried to capture the movement and the motion of all the preparation and work. There is a lot of work in the kitchen which we don't realize, and I found it really interesting.
My name is Archie. I am a first year undergraduate in History of Art at St John's College. This was actually a kind of tester that I did in preparation for a much larger vase, which has actually since exploded in the kiln, which was quite a kind of emotional experience. But this was something that I did in an evening pottery class in London. But it's kind of a very tiny vase, and it's covered with little almost plaque-like red plaques with lettering on them, which was taken from a t-shirt by a Belgian fashion designer, Raf Simmons, and it's got some quotes on it, which he's all about youth culture, and so it's kind of to do with I don't know, I just like some of the words and the lettering and juxtaposing some of the phrasing.
Ed Kendall, and I'm in third year studying English. I do quite a lot of blacking stuff, I suppose, because it's quite free. I'm not really very good at mixing colours, so it gets around that problem. And so it all kind of, you know, comes in the texture of the ink and like different marks and that kind of stuff. Well, I've done in the past quite a few blacking sketches of Brighton Pier. It's the one that burnt down a few decades ago, burnt down twice, I think, and it's a pretty amazing looking thing. It's been sort of hanging around out in the ocean as a big sort of bird cage for a long time now because they don't know what to do with it. And I go down to Brighton quite often to see my aunt, and so I just took some pictures at one point and then did quite a few of these sketches, and I just like the way in which there's, you know, a lot of negative space in the background, which is probably the most interesting part, and you can really see through the frame, and it's sort of skeletal, I suppose. So yeah, it's a nice structure to do, really nice structure to do.